Hello, and welcome to Make a Difference, the show about how volunteers are making a difference every day right here in Montgomery County. I'm your host, Sandy Smith, and we welcome you here via Zoom due to the current and ongoing pandemic crisis. In this episode, we are pleased to have three guests with us today, and they will be discussing EveryMind and their commitment to support the most vulnerable and at-risk communities that have experienced increased mental health challenges. Today, we are speaking with Marcela Compagnet, EveryMind Human Resources Director, Vili Iranpur, EveryMind Program Coordinator, Friendly Visitor, and Representative Payee, and Matthew Quinn, EveryMind Volunteer, Friendly Visitor, and Representative Payee. Welcome, everyone. This is our first Make a Difference multi-person platform. How are you?
Good afternoon.
Good, thank you
for having us.
So today, and to begin with, Marcela, why don't you tell us about the general mission of EveryMind?
EveryMind is a mental health nonprofit established here in Montgomery County, and we serve the National Capital Region area. Since 1957, we have been a trusted source of our community for mental health education, and we provide several programs that take a holistic approach to mental health and wellness. We have several programs where not only staff but volunteers are part of our workforce. For example, our 24-hour Montgomery County hotline, where we have specialists answering the hotline phones. We have our trained Friendly Visitor Representative Payee workforce. We also have support that work with our youth in the school systems, with homeless community, and our veterans programs. Our volunteers are an essential, critical part of our organization.
Vili, will you explain to us more about your Friendly Visitor program specifically?
Yeah, so our Friendly Visitor program, we serve 60 and older adults in our community in the county and our volunteers provide companionship and friendship for those individuals. It's our volunteers visit 1 hour per week, which the visit is different during COVID. But the goal of the program is to relieve loneliness and isolation within our older homebound adults.
So Marcela, since the onset of COVID and the shutdowns, many people have been experiencing isolation and depression. How have you addressed that?
Well, we've continued to do our work, and we've adapted really well during the pandemic. During the pandemic, one good thing that has come out of it, it had shown us that we can do a lot of the work virtually, which has also expanded even some of the services and the care that we can provide. So for example, the hotline volunteers used to have to come into the office to answer phones and do the chat lines, and now we've equipped our volunteers and employees to work from home. So that's something to consider if you want to volunteer on the hotline. We were also able to provide to the schools over 75,000 meals to vulnerable families relying on school lunch program. Our Serving Together program, who services our veterans families, also created a program with our volunteers to provide resources for veterans families that were suffering from food insecurities.
We're still operating. Our volunteers are doing the best to continue to support and provide their companionship to their friends. During the winter, it's a little bit harder just because if technology can be difficult for some of our older adults, but those that are able to connect, we have been able to. During summer, like the warmer months and when the days are nice, a lot of our individuals have chosen to meet outdoors. So maybe they'll sit outside on a bench or go for a walk, still with, masks and all the protocols in place. But we are, our volunteers are still out there providing support. It's just a lot of it has become more virtual, and then a lot of it has become outdoor visitations, like when the weather allows.
Yes, which will hopefully continue soon.
I know. Yeah.
Matthew, what attracted you to EveryMind?
Well, it's a long story, but I'll give you the condensed version. First of all, I'd like to have a shout out to Billy for her convincing and persuasion skills, because she convinced me recently to, in addition to being a volunteer in the Rep Payee program, to also consider volunteering in the Friendly Visitor program. And also, she also persuaded me to participate in this discussion, which required me to step out of my comfort zone. So I guess I want to extend a thank you to Billy for that. I first got involved with EveryMind in 2017. And if I may, I'd like to go back about 50 years. That's when I started my work career, and it was in law enforcement and the criminal justice community. And as a result of that, I had an opportunity to interact with people from all walks of life, to include in the US as well as internationally. And in that job, I guess I was required to do more talking than listening.
Right.
So what I have actually learned during my doing volunteer work is that it's probably a lot more important to actually listen to the people that we interact with and learn from them than actually do the talking. If I may, regarding the Friendly Visitor volunteer opportunity, which started for me in 2020, last year, Billy was on the call, the very first call with my Friendly Visitor, and it was probably supposed to last about 15 minutes. Well, we were well into an hour and a half during this initial phone call between myself and the Friendly Visitor, that I think Billy had to break in and said, "Excuse me, I really need to, take care of something else." So she broke away and we ended the call, but then we called each other back immediately and we talked for another hour. When I tell people that story, they said, "Wait a minute, this is the first time you spoke with this person and you had a 2.5-hour conversation?" Well, anyway, so that was my experience with the Friendly Visitor, and I have to tell you, this has been the most rewarding experience, volunteer experience for me. So, Billy, I want to thank you for this opportunity.
You're welcome. We knew you'd have a great personality, and I just had to call Matt when I had someone in mind. So I'm really glad you could do it. And Matt, we actually matched Matt during COVID. So just in regards to how we're still operating, I mean, we did it phone call. I've been doing a lot of phone call matches when clients are able to. And so that's really been helpful, because if they can't do the 1-hour visit, which they couldn't during, a lot of the time, we just do a phone call check-in. And that's really helpful for our older adults.
So it sounds like a lot of it is more so personality and connections with people, giving people a comfortable climate to vent or express their feelings. Would you say that there are any specific skills that you're looking for from your volunteers, especially from that particular program?
No, not at all. I think it's just people who want to provide a friendship companionship, because that's strictly what it is. Our volunteers don't provide hands-on care. They're not running errands. They're not doing, health stuff. It is whoever would want an additional friend or to give back to the community, provide companionship to maybe their neighbor or something like that. But it's the older adults in our community. So no really any set skills, just friendly and great conversation and have some mutual interests.
And what about the representative payee program?
For the Rep Payee program, volunteers are assisting our low income and low income residents who have disability and mental illness to manage their finances. So we would set up their budget and pay their necessary bills. So for that, you do have to have a commitment, more of a commitment, and then maybe some sort of financial background. All our volunteers have to be 21 and older, but some sort of financial background really is helpful, or organized and like accounting, math, just because you are budgeting and paying their bills. And Matt can also maybe speak to it, like what skill sets he might have that he finds that is useful with the Rep Pay program. But yeah.
Yes, if I may, Ms. Smith. So I would say anyone that wants to be a rep payee, they should definitely feel comfortable with reconciling their own bank account. Once you have that comfort level, then I think you'll be more confident in being responsible to oversee and manage the government benefits that a client may receive, and also have a better understanding as far as managing the payment of their recurring bills and things like that. But that's also been a very interesting experience for me, because in addition to interacting with these various clients in need, the particular client that I have happens to be living in a local group home. So in addition to interacting with that client, you're also interacting with the county's social services office. You're interacting with Social Security. And what's also been very rewarding to me is interacting with the house staff. That would be employees of the people that own and manage the house. And you can imagine they come from all walks of life. And my interaction with them has been, again, for me, very rewarding.
How can volunteers get in touch with EveryMind?
Yes, so all of our volunteer opportunities are posted on our website. It's www.every-mind.org. And on our website, there is a section called Get Involved. And so all of our opportunities are there. They can also call the main number, which is 301-424-0656. If somebody chooses to call, then I would recommend to ask for the Human Resources Department, and then somebody from my team can kind of walk you through, the process and see what's the best fit for you.
Wonderful, thank you. Matthew, do you have any final words about volunteering and your experience?
Yes, I do. And bear with me because I actually jotted this down so I didn't forget anything. But in summary, I would like to say that I have volunteered. I began volunteering in 2006, and that was not a very favorable experience. I was a board member in a residential homeowners association. So that was a wee bit challenging. And then after that, I was a volunteer with hospice, and then the county's Victims Assistance in Sexual Assault Program, Meals on Wheels. But I began volunteering with EveryMind in 2017, and it's been my experience is it's a wonderful organization to be part of. They are professional and committed to ensuring a quality experience for both the client as well as the volunteer. EveryMind's training, preparation, and readily available support has made my nearly 5-year relationship with EveryMind a most rewarding contribution.
Thank you for that, Matthew. And thank you, Billy and Marcela also. Thanks for joining us. And thank you for our first time ever triple discussion. If you are interested in volunteer opportunities, please go to our website, montgomeryserves.org. I'm your host, Sandy Smith, and thank you for joining us. And as always, let's be sure to make a difference.